It's day 45 of my 90-day weight loss challenge, which means I'm 50% of the way done. If my weight loss were following a nice linear path, I would be at 50% of my weight loss goal. My weight loss goal is to lose 30 pounds in 90 days, which means that today I should be at 289.1 pounds. Spoiler alert, I'm not at 289.1 pounds, but in this video, I'll explain where I am at and how I got here. At the end of day 30, I had only lost an additional 1.3 pounds since day 15. I was sitting at a total weight loss of 6 pounds in the first 30 days of the challenge, and today I am pleased to report that I have doubled that in the last 15 days. On day 45, I weighed in at 292.1 pounds, which is a total weight loss of 12 pounds and 40% of my way to the final goal. So I'm 50% of the way done with the challenge and 40% of the way to my final goal. This pleases me because I've made good progress between days 30 and 45, keeping me in the running towards actually hitting my final goal weight. More so, I made this progress with the continued inability to exercise. Let me explain. On day 30 of the challenge, I received some pretty monumental news at the cardiologist. In order to adequately tell this story, you should know that 2.5 years ago, I was given a new pacemaker. Before that point, I was jogging around 8 miles a week and I was walking daily multiple miles for exercise. I was also engaging in routine strength training. Oh yeah, and I weighed like 64 less pounds than I did at the start of this weight loss challenge. So I got this new pacemaker and I could immediately tell something was different. Like the way my heart was beating in my chest, it just felt wrong, nothing like I was used to. But my goal from the moment I woke up from surgery was to get back into jogging. I also had a new lead implanted, which requires a longer recovery time than a simple generator replacement, so it took about 6 weeks before I was ready to try to get back out there. I started off with a simple walk. It wasn't even a long walk. But on that walk, I discovered the thing that has plagued my existence for the last 2.5 years. You see, when I went on this simple walk, my heart did this thing. At a certain point, my pacemaker kicks in and it drops my heart rate down. I can feel this happening and it's rather unpleasant. Essentially, my pacemaker is causing skipped beats in order to regulate my heart rate back down to a level that it deems acceptable. It feels like palpitations in my chest and I lose stamina because I'm now getting decreased blood flow throughout my body. I attempted to communicate this to my cardiologist, but I was shut down. You see, at this time, I was going through some pretty serious anxiety issues surrounding my health in the first place, and my doctor sort of just wrote me off as being crazy. She told me that what I was experiencing was normal pacemaker activity, and I should just stop thinking about it. At some point, I made the decision to trust her. Maybe I was just crazy. So I had to readjust my idea of how I could work out because I couldn't even think about hitting a heart rate of 155 beats per minute without my pacemaker kicking in and causing me extreme discomfort. I would go on walks, but they were slower and shorter than they were before. And it was a good day worthy of sharing whenever I was able to go on a walk for longer than a mile without my pacemaker acting up. I got back into basic strength training, but I couldn't even do 10 squats without the thing happening. These things were difficult, but I pushed through. I haven't been overly consistent with working out for the last 2.5 years, honestly because it's a pretty demotivating experience whenever this happens. But I did try every once in a while to get back out there. The bounds that my heart condition places on my life tightened, and I felt like I would never be able to do the things that were in sight before my surgery. I never got to run the 5K that I was training for, and since my surgery, I have felt like I will never be able to run a 5K, period. With that context, let's get back to what I learned at the cardiologist. I recently got a new cardiologist because my previous cardiologist left the practice. So I had gotten a new care team, and this was my first appointment. I decided to bring up the normal pacemaker activity that my previous doctor had told me that I was overthinking about, and immediately my new nurse practitioner was like, you shouldn't be experiencing that. It took her 2 seconds of looking at my pacemaker settings to be able to identify that there was a setting that my previous care team had turned on that was supposed to be off due to the particular physiology of my heart defect. She changed it and I immediately felt better. My heart felt like it had for the first 26 years of having a pacemaker. At that moment, I was given hope that I could exercise again. Actual exercise, not that half-assed shit I've been forced to do for the last 2.5 years. Longer story shorter, I still can't exercise, and I probably won't be able to until early to mid-April due to a different but somewhat related situation. There's a safety mode that's on right now because my care team is trying to figure out whether or not I actually have an atrial arrhythmia. And so this mode that they have on will help to pace me out of any atrial arrhythmias that I might have. The kicker is that if I exercise, sometimes it kind of thinks something's going on and it kicks in. So it's actually kicking in earlier than it did before, and it feels a lot worse than I did before. So I'm really not exercising at all. But I'm told that in a couple of weeks, they're going to be able to see if I do have an arrhythmia, and if I don't, fingers crossed, then I should be able to have that mode turned off, and they said that I can go back to exercising like I used to. Well, not exactly like I used to exercise, because I'm pretty sure that if I even tried to jog half a mile at this juncture, I would die from being chronically deconditioned. This whole situation obviously has implications beyond the whole exercise bit, but we're going to slide right past that because the topic of this video is not how my old cardiologist utterly screwed me over for 2.5 years. We're here to discuss how I lost 6 pounds even though I haven't been able to exercise, and this situation has brought up a lot of emotions for me. Emotions that would have been so easy to drown in food, but I haven't. Instead, I compensated for the lack of exercise by decreasing my daily calorie intake. You can see that and how it impacted my weight trend on this graph. The bars running across the x-axis represent my calorie intake each day, which you can find on the left y-axis. The line running across the x-axis represents my weight each day, which you can find on the right y-axis. I had a lower average calorie intake between days 31 to 45 than I did at any other segment in this challenge. I consumed an average of 1,624 calories daily, which is 489 calories less on average than what I had consumed during days 16 to 30. This decreased calorie intake allowed me to go from 298.1 pounds on day 31 to 292.1 pounds on day 45. I found my mental fortitude during this time to be resolute. While I was more hungry than I had been at any other point in the challenge, I was determined to finish this segment with more progress in spite of the adversities that I continued to face. And I did. I'm not quite at 50% yet, but I made excellent progress. I found that consistently eating the same way every day worked for me. The meals were simple, I knew what was going to happen every day, and little to no thought went into daily food choices. Every morning I drank a protein smoothie consisting of banana, oats, cacao powder, almond milk, and Sun Warrior vegan chocolate protein powder. For lunch, I typically ate 2 veggie burgers with frozen vegetables or a frozen meal of some sort. For dinner, I ate tacos consisting of 99% lean turkey meat cooked with taco seasoning, salsa, pickled jalapenos, one of those pre-made individual servings of guacamole, and carb-balanced tortillas. I continued to be a sleep champion, getting an average of 8 hours and 9 minutes of sleep nightly. I also continued to be mostly terrible at meditating, although I did kind of get my shit together starting at day 43. Overall, I'm pleased with my progress during this segment of the weight loss challenge, and I appreciate you popping back up in here to check up on my progress. The next video will cover up to day 60 of my 90-day weight loss challenge, and I hope to see you there.